Welcome to this predicted paper from onmaths. This paper represents the best guess for the upcoming exams. Please use this paper in addition to your other revision. You can complete a unique version of this paper by going to our onmaths site. Onmaths is full of free content to help you prepare for your exams, such as topic-based papers, demon questions and mini mocks. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing. For this question, it's really important that we understand what the words sum and product mean. Now, sum just means add, and product just means times. So we're going to start by adding the 5 and the 4. So that will equal 9. And then what we're going to do is find the product of 9 and 7. So we're going to multiply them together. 9 times 7, which is 63. So our answer is 63. Frequency just means how many. So when it says the frequency for a score of 11, it just means how many 11s are there. So I'm going to cross these out as I go. So 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 11s. Then for 12, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For 13s, there are 1. And for 14s, there are 1, 2, 3. So this person's at Ashcook at 2017. So they're going to have missed this train here. And they're going to have missed this train here. So those are off. But they will be in time for this train here. And we're looking for the time it hits rise down. So it will get to flute at 20:52. And then rise down will be at 21:24. When a number is times by itself twice, we write it as 3 squared, or that number squared. When it's times by itself 3 times, we do 3 to the power of 3, or that number to the power of 3. So when we've got something times by itself 4 times, it's just going to be that number to the power of 4. Something to realise in this table we're given in this question is that the triangle has 3 sides, quadrilateral 4, pentagon 5 and hexagon 6. And that number is just 2 less than the number of faces. So basically if you've got the number of sides, you add 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6, 5 plus 2 is 7 and 6 plus 2 is 8. So if we've got 20 sides, and we just do the same thing, so we're just adding 2, then we should have 22 faces. So our answer is 22. So we've got 10x plus 2x. Now 10x plus 2x are like terms, so we can just add them together to make 12x. And we've got that equal to 24. Let's put in our solve lines. Now that 12 before the x is a times 12. So to get rid of it, we do the opposite, which is divide both sides by 12. And so we've got x on the left-hand side and 24 divided by 12, which is 2. So our answer is x equals 2. To find a coordinate, what we can do is we can start in the middle and we work out how far across we have to go. And here we have to go 2 across, so the x coordinate is 2. Then we find out how far upwards or downwards we have to go. And here we can go, well, we have to go 3 downwards. So that's going to be minus 3. So we first of all look at the x coordinate, the 2, then the y coordinate, minus 3, along the corridor, up, or in this case, down the stairs. So the first thing we're going to do is write this as a ratio between the fractions. So we're going to have green to black. Now it says that a quarter of the counters are black, and therefore the remaining counters will be green. So if a quarter are black, that leaves 3/4 to be green. And what we can do here is on both sides of the ratio, what I'm going to do is just times it by 4. So I'm just going to times 4 both sides. So 3 divided by 4 times 4, because over 4 just means divided by 4. So 3 divided by 4 times by 4 just gets rid of the fraction. And 1 divided by 4 times 4 is just going to be 1. Now, this might surprise some people because they will probably think it's a ratio of 4 to 1, but we can show here that it's a ratio of 3 to 1. So for this question, we just need to pick one of the coordinates. I'm just going to pick this one here. And we just need to work out what the coordinates are. Well, it's going up in 2, so it's going to be 4 on this side. And this is kind of 4.5, so that's going to be 19 there. So we know it's 19 at the bottom and 4 at the side here. So we're going to have a look on our table for a 4 and a 19. We've got a 19 and 23 here. It's got to be a 4 and a 19, which is here. And it shows that the 4 is for paper 1 and the 19 is for paper 2. So our answer will just be paper 2. So we're asked to reflect this shape along the line y equals x, and y equals x is a diagonal line where all the x values are equal to the y values. So at the bottom here we've got x is 10 and y is 10, so that coordinate would be 10, 10. And then obviously this coordinate 4, 4, etc. So we need to reflect it across this line. And so if I pick a point, I'm going to pick the top one. We can see it goes 4 diagonals to hit that line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will go another 4 diagonals. So that will be one of the coordinates there. And I'm going to do the same with the bottom one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diagonals. So it will be there. And then finally, I'm going to do this slightly harder one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of goes over the other one. Ends up here. So if we join these up, and we need to label it B. For each of these options, try and construct in your head the triangles that would be made from these lengths. And I'm going to give an example for question D, or for option D. And I'm going to construct my triangle just with sticks. So we're going to start off with our first stick, which is 19 centimeters. Then we're going to do another stick, which is going to be 37 centimeters. And we've got one last stick, which is 61 centimeters. Now, looking at the first 2 sticks, the actual combined distance of them, so when we add them together, so be 19 centimeters plus 37 centimeters, is 56 centimeters. So that's the combined width of them. And you can see that that actually wouldn't be able to create a triangle if the third stick is 61 centimeters. So the side here could combine with this side. So we could move this whole stick here onto this side here, but we can't actually make a triangle with it because the 2 lengths that we've got won't ever reach the end bit here. They just won't ever reach that bit to be able to create the triangle. And I'm just going to put that back. So our answer is option D. Here we're given angles on a parallel line, and the first thing we do is find out what letter they follow. And so I just connect the parallel lines with the angles, and it makes a little C. So if you look, it makes a little C. And C are interior angles. Now interior angles are a bit weird because they add up to 180. So to find x, what we need to do is take 172 away from 180, which will obviously be 8 degrees. And so it's going to be 8 degrees, and the reason is interior angles. Now some teachers call it co-interior, some teachers call it allied angles. Either one of those 3 is absolutely fine, you'll get full marks for. To find the surface area of the cuboid, I'm just going to label the faces and do them individually. So we've got A, which is 24 by 13. So we're going to do 24 times 13, which is 312. Next we're going to do B, which is this one at the top, and it's 24 across and 8 is the length. So 24 times 8, which is 192. And finally C on this side here, which is going to be 13 times 8, which is 104. Now notice that the faces all have the exact same face on the opposite side. So this one at the back is also A, this one at the side is also C, and the one at the bottom is also B. So what I'm going to do is add up all the areas of the squares and double it. So to work out the surface area, we're going to do 2 times and then 312 plus 192 plus 104, and that will give me 1,216 centimeters cubed squared, because it's an area. So we're asked to find the value of n where both sequences have the same term. So I'm going to start off by equaling both nth terms to each other, and then we can find the value of n which gives the same term. So I draw my lines down, and I'm going to start off by getting rid of the n's from both sides. So we look to see which is the smaller amount. So we've got 12n and we've got 6n, so the smaller amount is the 6n. So we're going to take away 6n on both sides, and so that would be 6n plus 19, and we've got rid of the 6n, so it's just 79. Next thing we're going to do is get rid of the 19, so take away 19 both sides, and so we've got 6n equals 79 take away 19, which is 60. And finally we just go divide the 6, and so that would be n equals 10. So the value of n is 10. Now we can just test this, because if you do 6 times 10, which is 60, 60 plus 79, which will be 139. And then if we do the same for the top one, 12 times 10, which is 120, plus 19, which is 139. So they both have the same term when n is 10. So I'm going to start off just with a quick sketch, and we know that the bearing of B from A is 85 degrees. So we're going to have A here and B here. And let's just draw a line between them, and let's do both our north lines. And so we know that this angle here is 85 because it's the angle on the bearing of B from A, so it's 85 degrees. So now it says work out the bearing of A from B. So the first thing we can do is actually just draw a line going down here, and we know that this angle here will also be 85 degrees because of alternate angles. It's always best to write that down somewhere, so we can just put in brackets here alternate angles, and we know that this angle here is going to be 180 degrees because it's a straight line. And I'm not a fan of doing the reasons on the diagram, so maybe perhaps I should have labelled this an x and this a y and written x equals 85 and y equals 180 somewhere else. And so to work out what the bearing is, I just need to do 180 plus 85. So 180 plus 85 is going to be 265 degrees. So we're going to write an expression for the amount of people on the first bus. So they've started with X passengers and they've gone to 11 bus stops with X passengers. So altogether that is 12X. So we're going to have the first bus, and so we've got 12X, and then on the last bus stop 19 passengers get on, so plus 19. Now for the second bus, well, we start with X and a further 5X come on, because 5 bus stops with x passengers, so that's 6x altogether, and then 79 get on. And it says the first bus finishes with less passengers than the first. So the first bus finishes with less, and the way we show that is with this inequality here. Now all we need to do is solve that inequality. And we've got x on both sides, so we look at the x's. We've got 12x and 6x, so we always take away the smaller amount. So we're going to take away the 6x both sides. And next thing we're going to do is take away the 19 from both sides. And so, meant to be 60. Got ahead of myself. And the last thing we do is divide by 6 both sides. And so we've got x is less than 10. Now, it says here, assuming no passengers got off either bus, what is the largest value for x? Now, it is tempting to write down 10, but it says x has to be less than 10. So the biggest number we can get that is less than 10 is 9. To find the pressure, we need the area and the force. And we're given the force in the question, and so all we need to do is find out what the area is, which will be the 7 times the 9, which will be 63 centimeters squared. And the force is given to us in the question, so what we can do is write down the pressure formula, which says that pressure equals the force divided by the area. Force is given to us as 2268. The area we've calculated is 63. Divide the 2 and you get 36. So it's going to be 36 newtons per centimetre squared. To find the median, we need to have all the numbers in a list from smallest to biggest and find the middle num. Now, we can't do that when we're using a table like this, or it's not very practical to. So we need a kind of different strategy, and the way we do it is to use a simple formula to find the position of the median. Now, the median will always be in the n plus 1 divided by 2 position. So we need to find out what n is, and we do that by adding up all the frequencies there. So let's add those together and you get the sum of f. So those add up to 15. So if you do 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 5, you get 15. And so we've got 15 plus 1 divided by 2. 15 plus 1 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. So the position of the median is in the 8th position. Now, to easily find out which group, because it's asking for the class interval, which is just a fancy way of saying a group. So it could be this one, or it could be this one. To easily find out which group the median is in, what we do is a quick running total. So what I'm going to do is add up the frequencies as I go along. So we've got 3 there. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10, plus 5 is 15. And then what I do is just convert those into 3rd, 7th, 9th, 10th, and 15th. So what those numbers are the last time that a number is in that group. So we've got 3 numbers that are in the group 10 to 25, and the third one is the last number in that group. The fourth one, therefore, will be in the 25 to 40 group. So we're looking for the 8th one. Well, the 7th one is the last one in this group. So the 8th one will be in this group here, as well as the 9th. Then the 10th one will be in the next group. So when it asks for a class interval, all we need to do is copy down exactly what the group is. So it's 40 to 55. And don't ever write down 40 to 55 or anything like that. Always copy it exactly from the table. Factorising is the opposite of expanding. So instead of multiplying something out of a bracket, we're putting it in a bracket. I'm going to start just by putting the bracket down. And we're going to ask ourselves, what number can we divide out of 18 and 33? And we need the biggest number we can divide out of both of them. So we're essentially looking for its highest common factor. So 18 and 33, that would be 3. And there's no letter we can divide out of both of them because 33 doesn't have a letter. Next we ask ourselves 3 times what is 18x? Well, 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 6x will be 18x. Then we ask ourselves what times 3 is 33? And that's obviously going to be 11. And you can expand that. 3 times 6x is 18x. 3 times 11 is 33. So we know we've got the right answer. So our answer is 3 brackets 6x plus 11. So we're going to first of all convert the 11 litres into millilitres. So we're going to do 11 times 1,000, which would be 11,000. Okay, so we're going to just draw a line, like a number line. And we're going to have the 11,000 in the middle. Now, what would be the next one down if we're looking at to the nearest 10 mil? So we're going to add a 10 mil on, which will be 11,010, and we're going to take the 10 mil away. So 11,000 take away 10 mil will be 10, 990. Now when we're looking at limits, with the upper and lower part of it, we are looking at halfway points. So halfway here and halfway here. So this halfway point will be 10,995, and the next one will be 11,005, and that's the halfway points. And so that is going to be our upper and lower bound. And we just need to say that V can be anything above the 10,995 and including that, and it can be anything below 11,005, but it can't include that, because if it did, if it was 11,005, it would have rounded up to 11,010. So the way this formula works is we have M, which is the final amount. The 2,000 here is our initial amount. The decimal in here is our multiplier, and the power here is the amount of years. So the way multipliers work is they are the percentage divided by 100. So if we go the other way and times it by 100 to make it back into a percentage, it will be 102.9%. Now it says, what is the interest rate of the bank? Well, the interest rate is always going to be 100%. Well, this 102.9% is 100% plus the interest rate, which will equal the 102.9%. So the interest rate is going to be the 2.9%. You always start off with 100%. So if I put £5 into my bank, I've got 100% of that £5, and then the interest rate is on top of that 100%. So our answer here will be 2.9%. So we need to first of all work out how many black and red counters there are at the start. Now if you look at the fraction of the probability of picking a black, in your first pick is 2/5, and then the second pick is 1/4. So you can see that there's one less at the numerator and then one less overall. So that means we can conclude that there are 2 blacks at the start, 2 black counters, and if there are 2 black counters and there's only black and red counters, then there must be 3 red counters, so that to make up the fact that it's 2/5. Okay, so to find the missing probabilities, the first couple are quite simple, because we know that, let's do a different colour, this and this have to add up to 1. And so if the probability of picking a black there is 1/4, then the probability of picking a red must be 3/4, because these have to add up to 1. Same with these two, these have to add up to 1. So if we've got 2/5 at the top, the bottom one must be 3/5. And finally, we've got these two here. Now these two here we're not given any fractions for, but given the fact that we started with 2 black and 3 red, we've picked one of the red, so we've got one less red, and that means we've got 2 black counters and 2 red counters. So it means that the probability of picking a black is 2/4 or 1/2, and the probability of picking a red is 2/4 or 1/2. With this question, you've just got to know what the different functions look like. So with C and D, we've got quadratic functions. One's a positive quadratic, which is a U shape. One's a negative quadratic, which is a kind of upside down U shape or an N shape. And here we don't have that, so we can get rid of those in our thoughts straight away. A is a positive cubic, which goes up, then down, then up again. And B is a negative cubic, which goes down, up, and then down again. So this one here goes up, down, up again. That's going to be a positive cubic. So our answer is A. So for this question, we're just going to subtract the tops and subtract the bottoms. And so we've got 5 take away 7 at the top, and 3 take away -3 at the bottom. 5 take away 7 is -2. 3 minus -3, well 2 minuses make a plus, so that's going to be 6. So our answer will be -2 at the top and 6 at the bottom. You can complete a unique version of this paper by going to our onmaths site. Onmaths is full of free content to help you prepare for your exams, such as topic-based papers, demon questions and mini mocks. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing.